finish line. You can't get there from here.
Strap on your pee bag. Wide Army. Running with scissors.
HWYRT.
HWYRT.
How come you're not running right now? No, seriously, grab some headphones and go for a run while you listen.
Come on, Bray.
And now, without further ado, here are Bryan and Peter.
Bryan, this is it. This is the last day of February. It's in the rear view. It's over. We're moving on to March. You have come into my home. You've come from somewhere. You're outfitted in a kit of exercise-ness. How was your run today?
Well, I went over to Rogue Hills in Union Square, Somerville, Massachusetts, and here's the two things that were great. The sun was already up at 6:30.
It's unbelievable.
When we started.
Yes.
And each lap, I took off yet another layer until I was down to just a long sleeve tech shirt.
And your underwear.
And well, I was still wearing my pants. That was part of it, too. Probably if I had gone shorts, I wouldn't have had to strip down so much. But, the hat went, the gloves went, the buff went, the extra layer and the puffer coat I was wearing originally, that all went. So that
did you still
really
keep
felt
your
good.
Original Marathon 2015 silver heat blanket? I know you wear that underneath all your clothes all the time.
And my medal.
Yeah, the medal. Yeah, of course.
Obviously. So those still stayed close to the skin. Yeah. But so that was all fantastic. But I do have a funny story.
Of course you do. That's why we do a show.
So we've been talking last couple episodes a lot about the gym. I'm just going to bring you back there because this is where this happened.
With the gym that I also go to?
Yeah. I will tell you this. We have clearly hit, I was there yesterday, we have clearly hit the end of the 2025 resolutions period.
They're all gone.
Holy mackerel.
Yeah.
Were there fewer people there yesterday.
It's unbelievable. That was true.
I could go anywhere I wanted.
Yeah, that was true on Wednesday and Tuesday as well.
It was magical.
Yes.
And that has nothing to do with what I'm about to tell you.
Oh, it has nothing to do with it.
So like many gyms, as you go in, the locker room, there's about 5 sort of sub-rooms, which is a little U shape of all the lockers with benches in the middle, right? And you have to make the decision when you go in where you're going to go put your stuff and lock it up and then come back. Now, this is a locker room which has built-in combo locks, right? So you don't bring your own lock.
Nope, it's great.
It's fantastic. I love everything about this whole setup, except this. If you go multiple times a week, and sometimes like if one of the, I'm going to call them the bays, right? You go in one bay.
I mean, it's very much like a Egyptian pharaoh tomb.
Right.
You have to decide which chamber
the
you want.
antechamber,
Yeah.
So I usually go right into chamber 1.
So do I.
Straight down the middle.
Yeah, and it has all the tall ones.
Yeah, or I have alternate first one on the right.
Fine.
Okay. There's like 6 guys in there when I walk in, so I'm like, well, what am I going to do? Wedge my way in between? I'm like, this is the locker I usually use.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir.
I have seniority for this.
You've dropped your towel,
locker.
sir.
Well, okay. So I go to option 2.
The next bay.
Nope. All the way down.
All the way. You go all the way.
And then there's a little hidden one around the corner, which I've been going to
That's
also.
the best one if you're doing full need the shower because it's...
Well, that's why I'm there.
Right. I don't need the shower because I live so close.
Right. So I go to that one. There's like 5 guys in that one. 5 guys eating hamburgers. No. 5 guys. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to bother you guys either. So I go to the final one, the one right next to the showers. I'm being a good citizen.
Fellow person, yeah.
Right. No one's in there. I'm like, great, I'll grab that.
This is mine.
Finish my workout. I saw you. That was fun.
Thanks so much.
I go back into the locker room, go straight to the locker that I was at. Combination doesn't work.
Did you set it?
And I'm like, well, did I have a quote unquote senior moment and forget to do the thing? And then I say, well, there's two to the left, 2 lockers to the left. I'll just try that one. No. I'm like, okay, this is ridiculous. What am I going to do? And I think, well, all right, maybe it was early in the morning. I wasn't paying that much attention. Maybe I just went to one of my other choices and forgot because I went to this one earlier in the week.
Yeah.
This is the danger of not bringing your own lock, because if you move around,
You're not sure.
if you've got a locker in every port,
Plus,
sometimes
and again, you're talking about because of the frequency at which you're going, this is becoming a problem.
So I go back to the around the corner antechamber. Now there's not very many people in the locker room, right? And I look and I'm like, no, all those lockers are open and empty. There's nothing in there. And I'm the guy who starts opening every unlocked door.
Wait, are you in the bay area, the
Near
place?
the shower.
But are you in the where you think you actually put it?
Yeah, I know I put it.
So you
in
haven't
there.
left that one to be like, I think maybe
I did. I went around to the one that I sometimes go to.
But you know you didn't put it in there.
No, but I'm like, maybe I was thinking about a million other things.
Fine.
And I walk back past, obviously there's sinks and mirrors, and 2 guys are, getting ready for the day, talking about their ski trip. So I'm half listening to their little story about their ski trip.
Sir, you've dropped your towel.
And then, okay, they were dressed. So I go back to the first antechamber where I usually go. 90% of the time I'm in the first antechamber.
Yeah, but you just said you didn't go
And
there.
I'm like, all right, maybe I did go here and I just forgot. And I'm like, did Peter come in here and like somehow follow me in and screw with my combination just as a little
I
gag?
wasn't sure which one you were in, so I literally spin the dial on every single
one.
locker.
Right.
Yep, I did.
And I'm like, just as a gag, like,
this is a goof.
that would be hilarious. And I'm like, no, that's not it. And so I now am aware that I'm a fully dressed person in a locker room of mostly less than fully dressed people, wandering from bay to bay, just looking around.
Yeah, but probably better than you're not nude.
I look a little like I'm lost.
Yeah, you
and
do.
so I try to put on a sort of bemused,
I don't know where it is.
a bemused smile of
Look at me.
semi-authority, like
don't
I'm
know.
supposed to be here.
This is okay.
And
I'm doing a spot inspection.
Scott, the manager, told me to come in here and do this after my workout. And
I
I'm
work
just
for the lock company.
looking around.
We're just testing the product.
looking for treats.
Excuse me, you dropped your towel.
And I know the guys talking about their ski trip are like, who is this guy?
No, they've made
And
no notice of it.
why is he like looking at my bag in the locker?
Well, why are you doing that? Don't do that. You
Well,
know
I
it's
was
not yours.
I was also rummaging through other people's duffel bags. No, none of that happened. Anyway,
Did you go back to the first area?
and that's where it was.
Of course it was. You told us it was.
No. Ha! I even forgot the ending. The ending was I was in bay number 1.
No, you weren't because you.
I was.
No.
I wasn't in the one next to the showers, and I wasn't in the last
Special back
chamber. No, I actually was in bay number 1, which is my number 1 choice all the time. I had forgotten.
But wait a minute. Okay.
Yeah, I said it was full of 5 guys. I made that up in my mind.
But did you actually go all the way to the other ones early on?
No. That was Tuesdays.
Oh, you conflated previous
I confused
visit.
Tuesday with what had happened 50 minutes earlier.
Oh, that's not good. Yeah, no, that's not good. So when are you going to the neurologist? But you got all your stuff.
I got a lot of things on my mind, Peter.
You were fine. Mm-hmm.
I was just bemused.
Yeah, that's great.
Older gentleman wandering around the locker room,
That is
clearly
not fun.
not knowing where his stuff was, looking in lockers, spinning locks. Yeah.
Were you dehydrated?
No.
Did you have water with you?
Stop it.
No, it's important.
Of course I had water with
I
me.
didn't see water with you when I saw you.
Okay.
Did you have a water bottle?
Yeah, a giant water bottle. A 32-ounce bottle of water, which I drank all of.
That's okay. I keep thinking you're using kettlebells when you're using dumbbells.
Yeah, you did ask me about the kettlebells. I'm like, I haven't picked up a kettlebell
Yep,
in
I
years.
saw you grab kettlebells, and they weren't.
No, that wasn't me.
But I made that up. In my mind, I looked, and I was like, that's a giant kettlebell.
And that's the funny thing. I never made the decision to either push people aside in a crowded locker bay or go to an empty one. The first one was empty, and I went right to it, and I completely forgot that I did that.
Oh, so probably if I can do a little armchair neuroscience.
Oh, please.
You probably spent zero effort in getting that locker.
Correct.
And in your mind, you were like, oh, remember all that effort it was finding the goddamn locker to even get started from 2 days ago?
It was 2 days ago.
That's where my problem is today. I'm going to go find that lot. Oh, wait,
Right.
no, that was this time.
Right.
You also could bring a sticky pad, like like Post-it notes, and just every time you close it up, slam a bright pink or bright green Post-it note. Just right there. Don't have to write anything on it. Just put it right on there.
How about I just spend one extra moment saying, don't forget where you put your stuff, and then I'm good.
When I go to a gym that maybe I'm not familiar with, like if I'm visiting a friend or if I'm at a hotel, I will take a picture of my locker with my phone because my phone is probably with me.
But I'm going to the one I go to
Every time.
twice a week. So here, it's like, it's one of those things where it's like when you do a drive you've done all the time. You don't commute by car, but driving, many people have had this experience. You get to work and you're like,
I have no idea how I got here.
yeah, what was that commute like?
I don't even know what roads I took.
Right, because you just have tunnel vision.
You zone out.
And that's it.
So that's it. You commuted to your locker.
So every once in a while, Andrew and I will be going to a place on the weekend, and we'll get 10 minutes in, and she's like, how are you getting where you're going? And I look up, and I'm like, oh, I'm driving to work.
Yeah, right.
Even though that's not at all where we're going.
So you were remembering the previous commute to your locker.
Correct.
That's the end of that story.
Correct.
No, I mean, that's the end of that story. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Excuse me, sir. You've dropped your towel. Which is a phrase I've never said to anyone, ever. Even when they have dropped it.
Come on, break.
Well, Peter, we've reached the end of the month, and I want to know two things. One, what's the number out of 28? How many times did you make it to the gym? Because I'm already proud of you.
Aw.
And then two is, how was your run today?
Thank you so much for asking all those questions, Bryan. Today is the 28th. It's early in the day. I haven't gotten to the gym yet today, but I believe I will. But if we don't count today, the previous 27 days, I achieved gym 22 of the 27 days. And I will tell you, thank you so much, and I will tell you that my personal goal was, wow, can you go 20 times? I know you're talking big with 28 days, but in life and all that get in the way. Could you go 20 times? You've probably never gone to a gym 20 times in a month, in like a 30-day month. So, yeah, very excited. You know who's totally excited is that Scott, the manager of the gym. He just thinks it's awesome. Weird thing, he was going through his records. He's like, you didn't scan in on the first. I said, no, I absolutely did. Is there any way that when I scan it doesn't get recorded? He goes, oh yeah, if we don't have the right page up, it doesn't record anybody's for the day. I was like, are you serious? He goes, yeah, it happens. And I said, well, I'm going to tell you, and I went through the whole list of like 2 Saturdays, President's Day, there was a random, I think Valentine's Day, I couldn't, whatever. So I accounted for, I know exactly the 5 days down. I know the reasons for the 5 days down. I'm perfectly fine with that.
No, you crushed, I got to say.
Well, thank you very much. And proof's in the pudding, baby. You saw me twice, even just this week. Mm-hmm. We crossed over, and that's been nice. And I will say you're right. And I've known you're right this whole time, but it took me about 4 weeks to figure it out. And
Well,
it takes
please tell me.
Takes a big man to say they're wrong, buddy.
What? Well, I have no idea what comes next.
Going to the gym earlier is the better deal. It's just a better deal. Get it done.
Yeah.
For a couple things. To your point, it is thinning out for reals. Mm-hmm. As we approach week 8, 9 of the month, of the year rather, yeah, everybody's starting to recalibrate their interests and what have you, and get into a routine, really, right? And the other thing is your brain is foggy, and the time goes by faster. You're not as aware of how much time you need to do or focus or thing in the, not that you're not doing the things, but your brain doesn't mind it as much. That's always been true with early morning runs too. I mean, you just got to sort of get to it, and the rest of your day is gravy.
Yeah.
It doesn't hang over you.
Right.
Like the sword of Damocles.
Right.
Like you're done.
Right. Yeah, I've always been somewhat jealous of people who can sort of walk out of work and then go that daily dime or go for that 5
and
mile
love it
run
and then really enjoy it.
and
Yeah.
then, be wrapped up and then go have dinner or whatever.
Can't do it.
I can't do it.
It's hard to do.
Yeah, the day just
I can
eats
squeak
me up.
the lunchtime thing isn't awful. It's not terrible.
No, once or twice a week I would love to get that in. It just hasn't worked for me
Yeah.
in a long time.
Yeah, and I would say half the battle is, to your point earlier, the sun is coming up earlier.
Yeah.
There's just more daylight. There's more feeling of energy. We're getting through it is all I'm saying.
Of course, in 2 weeks, that'll all change with daylight saving time.
Oops.
We lose an hour in the morning, but that's fine.
Bryan, in this room that we're sitting in, we're crowded by all the people who have sent in voice memos who are going to reenact them live as if they're recorded. Is that true?
It's close to true. I'm going to press a button on my computer, and we're going to hear the voice memo.
Oh, we're going to go with the recordings.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So what's happening?
Okay, so we have so many. I believe what we should do is we should just start with Michael Goff and a decision he made early on in a run in a place he hadn't run before.
Oh, yeah. Let's go to Michael.
What's slow, sweet, and sticky?
Michael Goff.
Actually, it's molasses.
Michael Goff.
Voice memo? Is that how it goes, Molly? I'm not quite sure. We'll stick with your version. Hello, Bryan and Peter. Peter and Bryan. I am coming to you a little under midway. It could be more than midway through a 6 to 8 mile run that Coach Paul has assigned to me as I work my way back in. We were visiting friends in Hastings-on-Hudson, New York. Apparently, I turned the wrong way out their front door. I thought I was going to run to Irvington and look for the Sleepy Hollow statue. I am literally now lost in Yonkers. Am I still just running on Route 9 on Broadway? Yeah. Do I feel lost? Yeah. Are there a ton more hills? Yeah, a lot more hills. So this will be a fun one. But we'll see how things feel afterward. Great episode last week, assuming that you play this next. Loved hearing from my pal James McCabe, and I strongly agree with you. He is absolutely an athlete. He is crushing his training. He's doing the hard work, and very, very proud of him and the work he's doing for himself and for the Bulldogs. So I'm going to finish up this run, in quotes. You can go back in time and look on Strava, see what it ended up being. It's probably going to be titled Lost in Yonkers, because this is not Irvington. This is not Sleepy Hollow. I am not Ichabod Crane, although I feel every ounce of it. All right. Thank you for another great episode. Glad you guys are back. Love you. Take care. Bye.
That's wonderful. Nearly headless Goff reporting in.
No, he went the wrong way.
He didn't go to Sleepy
No,
Hollow.
if he, in fact, if he had just continued like 2 miles south,
Yeah.
he would have hit my favorite bagel shop called Goldberg's Bagels in Yonkers.
Oh, wow.
He was pretty close.
Well, kudos to him for getting on that run, just, taking what comes, what turns may come. Also, for giving the first Neil Simon major shout out on the show, as far as I can connect.
What? What are you saying?
Lost in Yonkers is, of course, a Neil Simon play.
Oh, when you said Neil Simon, I thought Paul Simon. And I
The
thought
Congressman? The Congressman Paul
I don't know
Simon?
that song.
With the bow tie?
Well, who?
Paul Simon, the Congressman.
No,
He had big ears, glasses. Nothing?
no, one half of Simon and Garfunkel.
Who?
Okay, so we have another voice memo from another fan of James McCabe. Mark Rayburn sent this during his climb up the steps of Harvard Stadium.
Oh, Mark, let's go.
Voice memo!
Hello, Peter and Bryan. It's a new friend of the show, Mark Rayburn, and I can proudly say, friend James McCabe. By the way, we're thinking about having satin jackets made. I am at November Project at the stadium. As you can probably hear from the respiratory or cardiac event that's happening in the background. Just wanted to check in and say, so good to have you guys back. Peter, sorry. Yes, Peter. It was really good to hear that your that conversation about Falmouth stuck. The conversation I had that same day about Mount Washington is stuck, which is why I'm here. And I'm entered into the lottery for the Mount Washington race. Love hearing the podcast again, and keep it up.
Oh my gosh, Mark.
Mark, you keep it up.
Man,
Okay.
that's so great.
I love everything Mark had to say.
Yeah.
I also, so many people have asked me, why don't you guys do the podcast like while you're running? So it's as if we're running with you.
Absolutely, that's why.
Now
right
you
there.
know why.
That's exactly it. Not interested. I'm huffing and puffing on the couch. I don't
Right.
need to be. No one needs to. Again, why isn't it video? No one needs to see it.
No, but as a 1-minute voice memo, it's
Perfect.
pure gold.
Thank you, Mark. Mark is my movie friend as well, and yeah, that's so exciting that he's in the lottery for Mount Washington, and I'm going to enter the lottery for Falmouth, which, by the way, I didn't realize was a lottery. Doesn't open till May 1st. I got to get my name in there.
So like a scratch ticket kind of thing?
It's a little bit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's just a popular race, so they of course control it a certain way. So I've talked big, like I'm gonna do it. I can only do it if I'm allowed in.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So this might be a lot of hot air.
Yeah, so I'm putting all my eggs in the June 20th, 21st solstice, longest day of the month.
The as yet unnamed race?
As yet unnamed race. Please send in your names.
Well, you know, the man we've talked about so much in the last 5 minutes, James McCabe, also sent in an update on his training.
Oh my gosh, it's like we didn't ask him to, did we?
I don't remember.
I can't remember.
Who knows?
James, go ahead.
I'm doing voice memo.
Hey, Bryan and Peter. It's McCabe again with a marathon training update. I ran 18 on Saturday, and I read my plan wrong and did 7 again on Monday, and then 7 more on Tuesday. So that was a lot more than I should have, but I actually feel really good, so yay me. After my first update, you asked a really great question that really made me think about the impact that all this training is having on my family and my social life. So it's big. Training takes up hours, 4 days a week, as you guys know. And then the other days there's stretching and self-care and extra sleep. It's more than I realized, and I was already worried about the impact on my family. But I get huge support from my wife and kids, and sometimes they send texts that encourage me on big runs, and it means so much to me. It's awesome. And then every time I start to feel guilty or selfish, and I think it's too much, my wife says something thoughtful, and I realize that this is big for both of us, and I'm very, very lucky. That said, it has been hard to see my extended family up in Maine. They're pretty far up, and it's never an easy trip, so that's a challenge. And speaking of family, I did get a nice note from my uncle Bill McCabe, a friend of the show, and a marathon runner, ultra-marathon runner, and that was awesome. I'm not sure if he's running this year or not. I need to find that out. As far as my social life, I'm kind of an introvert. That always surprises people. So I find that training means that the excuses that I use to cancel plans and spend time alone are more real now, so that's nice. In reality, though, running is kind of my social life. It has been for years. And that and a couple of text threads that I hope no one else ever reads. So probably training would be harder if it wasn't such a huge part of life anyway. I would say the biggest impact of training is on my creative stuff. I think you guys have seen my feeds, and then he snapped, and Blind Jimmy and the exposures for the rock show stuff. And I made a conscious decision not to take on projects and jobs during the training, and that's really been very, very hard. Doing the weekly videos has been a fun creative outlet, so there's still some stuff going on. but I'm really looking forward to, especially to shooting some shows again soon. So, that's the update. What should we talk about next? Do you guys want to hear about the beating that my feet have taken and how gross they look? I was thinking we could do a YouTube special with close-ups, and maybe Brooks would sponsor it. So let's do that, okay? Until then, I'll see you guys out there.
Voice memo!
No, I don't think we need a YouTube special on the feet. We know anyone who's done any kind of marathon training or...
Especially that first one.
Oh, God. You learn a lot about where your feet fit in your shoes and how they don't fit in socks and all sorts of things.
Why are there hamburgers attached to my ankles?
But great to get a McCabe squared check-in. That was awesome. Keep going, man. Don't stop.
Shout out to Bill McCabe, one of the few people at the first Crankle 2K. I think we were maybe 6 strong that night, something like that. 8 strong.
2016.
2016.
Oh man, that's a long time ago.
So few of us.
Boy, it was amazing.
No logging trucks.
He
no costumes.
He was literally the first one we saw, and I couldn't believe that someone came just because we point our lips towards this microphone thing and say to do things. It's ridiculous.
It was ridiculous.
Meanwhile, listen, what you got to do now, because those miles he was talking up just now were a little steep.
Yeah.
Take it easy. Yeah, I mean, no, don't stop, but you got this. You're good. Just don't overcook.
Yeah, like when you put your stuff in a locker and lock it and walk away, pay double attention to your planning schedule. Like, you've made the mistake, you survived the extra miles, but don't make the mistake I always make, which is like, well, I did an extra 7 and another 7 on top of that, on top of my 18, which means I'm even in better shape than I thought, which means in 3 days, you're going to be injured if you don't think about it. So
go for a 3. Calm down.
Yeah, or take 2 days off.
Or take 2 days off. That is exactly it.
And just stretch.
Or do something totally different. Get on the bike.
And exactly.
Change it up. Because, go ahead.
I was just going to say, and the next time, double, triple check the schedule, because you are right now in the area, and I'm talking directly to you, McCabe. You're in the danger zone because you're doing miles you've never done before. Your body is in great shape, but you're also on the precipice of potential catastrophe.
That's right.
And so you really need to stay in the gray zone and not tip over to the bad side.
And he's got plenty of time still. He still has that full month of March, which is where it all comes together. He's already in a great place. But
he's going to do fine.
Yeah, but now really adhere to the plan.
Don't overdo it.
If you miss a day, you miss a day. It's okay. Get more sleep than you think you need. Do all the things. God, I'm so impressed.
Peter,
do you know I'm not?
You're going to be training for a very long event very soon.
Stop it. Do you know I'm not going to be here on Marathon Day? I'm going to be in Japan. I'm not going to be able to high five him.
I know you won't be.
You're going to have to do that.
My attendance on the race course is questionable. At this
no!
moment. Yeah,
we can make Anna do it.
I have other family considerations pulling me in a different direction, but we'll see. We'll see.
Nothing's happened. Maybe I'll come back from Japan early.
But that's unlikely.
Yeah, definitely not doing that.
Peter, there's so many people. We did put out the clarion call.
We did. We rang the bell.
And so many people said, hey, I want to be part of the show. And one of them is old friend Marathon George.
Who?
Who's that?
Well, that's George Woodward right there.
Marathon George.
Go catch that sheep.
Hello, Bryan and Peter. It's GW, Marathon George. After last week's show, I'm just calling to say I run on the course regularly, the Boston Marathon course, and on several occasions, I've seen James McCabe out there running. And let me tell you this, James, you are an athlete, a real athlete. We sometimes get jaded because everybody around us is training for Boston and running so fast, but really, we're pretty unusual. Most people in the world can't imagine running a mile, let alone 26. So, dude, you are an athlete. Speaking of the course, I was out running a couple weeks ago and stopped at the firehouse to have some water. For those of you who aren't familiar with the course, the firehouse is 17 and a half miles into the race, and it's the point where you make your first turn. You turn right and head up Firehouse Hill. The firemen put out a table with water and Gatorade and snacks and set up a couple porta potties, and they're very supportive of the runners. Anyway, as I was hydrating, this guy comes up to me and says, "Hey, I know you." I didn't really recognize him, but he went on to say that Michael Goth had introduced him to me at this very same firehouse a year ago. Well, everybody knows Michael, and Goth knows everyone. Peter, good job on getting to the gym. I actually went to your gym last Friday. It's part of the New Balance track complex in Brighton, brand new, fantastic track. And I went to do an indoor race. It was a lot of firsts for me. I'd never raced indoors. I'd never raced like I was a real racer on a track with a number on my hip. I'd never raced 2 miles. And it was a really fun event. Fantastic. Big screen TV, lots of TV cameras because it was being simulcast, your name up on the big screen, and off I went and ran really hard. Had fun doing it too. Wore my New Balance super shoes and ran on the New Balance super fast track. Did make me think about super shoes. Do we care anymore? For a little while there, when they first came out, everybody was up in arms, but in some ways it's no different than when I started running, we were wearing canvas sneakers, and now we run in really nice shoes. Does it matter anymore? What do you guys think? Super shoes just the thing? That's all for now. How was your run today?
Peter, I just want to give George a big congratulations for getting on that track, the indoor track, and doing a race.
I would be intimidated. No way.
Wow.
I mean, there's just no way.
Wow.
There's just no way. But
it's one thing like going to the local high school with your friends and running around like at 9 o'clock on a Saturday morning.
Oh, yeah.
It's another to do it at the New Balance track, which is, when you walk in there, it feels like you're in the Olympics. It's amazing.
It'd be like doing a pickup basketball game at the Garden.
Right.
I'm not interested. I mean, I like the idea of it.
With it full.
No, I'm good. I'm just going to stand
and
here.
it's on TV.
I'm going to be over here by the fried dough cart. I'm good. Don't ask me to join in. I will take a pair of super shoes, by the way. If someone wants to, donate them to the show for testing.
Yeah.
We tried those out.
I feel, you remember that time I was up at Summit Avenue and Aaron Prather, friend of the show, Aaron Prather, brought all the Mizuno shoes, and I think the ones I put on might have had a carbon plate in them.
Were they considerably lighter?
Well, they were very light, and I did feel, I felt like they were actually giving me something back when I was sprinting. Not when I was sort of jogging around, but when I was sprinting, I was like, wow, the shoes really seem to be working for me. So I could understand that. I'm not blazing up anywhere. Wait, that sounds weird. My running isn't blazing me around anywhere.
No, but his question's a good one. And I would think that the overall environment now is like, yeah, if you can get them, wear them. If you like them, wear them. I mean, I don't think the culture of running is now against it. To his point, I think it's like, well, no, it's just one more thing we do.
If they're available to everybody, then it's a level playing field.
I mean, didn't we see this when Nike really got in the game, when Reebok really got in the game? This is way back. Didn't everybody sort of say like, "Whoa"? I mean, these are cheating. These shoes are too. I mean, it's always going to be the case. Someone's going to say something.
A little bit of technology will change the thing. And
Are you using the anti-grav shoes now?
And
that might be cheating. Yeah. Repulsor lift shoes.
Yeah, get
you up in the air.
It's a surprising tweak that actually makes a difference.
Sure.
I will say that, because often I think we wind up paying 10 or 20% more for something that's a purported difference, and it's really the same thing bundled up in the same package.
Good point, Bryan.
So that's what I think about super shoes. Wear them if you want.
Do what you want.
McCabe. Voice memo.
Voice memo.
Voice memo.
Peter, though, I will say this. If you were early on wearing those super shoes,
Yo.
You were a trendsetter.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bryan, despite the plethora of voice memos that we've just received,
Yep.
We still need more titles sent to us for the upcoming June 21st, longest day of the year ultra that we're putting together here in Massachusetts. So please think about that, everyone, and send those in. Don't be shy. They can be silly names. They should be silly names.
I'll give you just one because the list is growing.
Yeah.
So thank you for sending them in. One of them was something to the effect of, this race would have been shorter tomorrow.
That's funny.
Or this would have been shorter tomorrow ultra. That's pretty funny.
That's pretty funny. That's going to maybe be a contender. Again, let's get as many as we can.
That's right.
To howisyourruntoday@gmail.com. That's howisyourruntoday@gmail.com. And let's get this ultra named. We're going to compile the list. We'll read out maybe the best ones, come to the conclusion of like 3 or 5, put it to a vote. We're actually going to put it to the vote eventually, probably sometime in end April, early May. And then that's it. We've named the race. And then we can make the swag and have swag. I hope, because we have a budget for swag. What's our budget like right now?
What the?
This will be a production meeting that we have with the full staff later on, Peter.
Very good.
So I don't know.
We flying everybody in for that meeting?
We're going to fly everybody in for that meeting. Hey, you know what? I'm just going to give a shout out to anybody who hit subscribe or follow on our YouTube channel.
All right.
The numbers are still paltry but growing.
You're seeing a change.
Yeah.
All right, that's good.
Let's get up. Okay. The numbers are small.
Are we out of single digits?
Let's get up to 50.
Oh, that'd be great.
I mean, just 50. Then we can grow from there. But the thing about YouTube is the more people that click follow, the more people it gets plopped into their feed. And there's more people who need to hear the show who are going to benefit from it. That's
so
all
what
I'm
if
saying.
I'm old school, Bryan, and I don't want to necessarily listen to the show by YouTube? You're suggesting just find us on YouTube.
Correct.
Hit subscribe.
Yeah.
That's like a donation to the show in a weird way.
I guess, except that no money exchanges, and
I
it
know,
only
we
benefits
still
the people who are then going to discover the show
monetizing
by
this IP.
algorithm deal. But you can listen to it anywhere. Just tune your podcatcher over to How Is Your Run Today, and you'll get there.
On the big dial?
On the big dial of your podcatcher.
Just turn it.
Your podcast net.
Yeah. Does your podcatcher have push buttons? Like an 8-track?
Yeah, it's like kunk kunk.
Yep.
Yep.
Subscribe.
No, that's a slider. He goes thunk.
Oh yeah, you got to slide it over.
Subscribe.
You got to blow the dust out and make sure it makes full contact.
That's correct. 3, 2, 1, contact.
3, 2, 1, contact. I'm not making any pronouncements for the month of March other than...
Sounds like you're about to.
No. Just remember in a couple days to March 4th. It's one of the few days of the year that's a command. Not March 3rd, March 4th.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah.
That'd be a good day to ruck if you wanted to do that.
If you wanted to ruck, sure. What else could you do? You could plog, get out there with a bag while you're jogging and pick up some trash.
You could do that.
I'm about to do that because there's a lot of debris in the streets.
Now that the snow and ice has melted, yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Some of that stuff I'm not touching, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that. You got to get one of those like extendo grabbers. Pick stuff up carefully, like the trash man.
I'm thinking more like you need a shovel.
Flamethrower.
And a metal garbage can.
And a respirator.
Yep.
Voice memo.